From the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, welcome to Iowa Live. I am Lou, and it is time to visit with our buddy, attorney Kim Baer, to give you some important legal advice, especially when it comes to being injured, which we never want to see, Kim, but this time it involves something that is very prominent.
Yes, I thought since it's the winter time, we would talk about car accidents in Iowa.
Right.
And, you know, obviously when it happens, you're usually in shock. You weren't expecting it. And so I think it's helpful for people to know what they should do, what they should be prepared to do if they are in an accident.
All right. Now, this is a vehicle accident of any kind. Now, what's the first thing someone should do in case they are in an accident?
Well, the first thing we want people to do is make sure that you're not hurt. If you're hurt or someone in your car is hurt or someone in the other car is hurt, make sure you call 911. Let's get everybody medical care if they need it. The other thing that you need to be doing, if everybody's all right or they are getting medical care, you know, snap off some photos. Everybody has iPhones or cell phones these days,
Right.
so snap off some photos of not only your car but also the other car so that we have some evidence of that. Because sometimes what happens, the story changes. What you saw happened and what the other person saw happen might be different in a few days.
Now, what is the situation here if you just get into an accident, you make sure everybody's okay, and then you're taking your phone out and you're taking pictures? Should people be concerned about what the other folks are thinking when they're doing that?
No, I think you can just say, hey, I just want to make sure that I've got this for the police and for the insurance adjuster.
Okay.
And, you know, you don't need to be, you know, aggressive about it, but just snap off a few photos.
Okay.
You know, the same thing is if you were hurt and you end up going to the hospital, or maybe you go to urgent care and then you go home and you have bruises or broken bones, take pictures of those as well.
Oh, of your injuries?
Yes, of your injuries, of your
Really?
bruises. Yes, those
Okay.
are very helpful because, you know, you have to, I tell my clients, think about this as if you were the insurance adjuster. And we're trying to explain to the insurance adjuster what you've been through.
Okay.
And, you know, we have that old saying, a photo's worth 1,000 words.
Right.
So, you know, a big old bruise with a photo of it is a lot better than saying she had bruising on her left arm.
Got it, totally. And how about, you know, people on the scene if you're there, because more times than not, somebody else will stop in case they've seen it.
They will, and usually people they want to get to where they're going, so they'll stop, they want to make sure you're okay, and then they leave. So if someone stops to check on you and they were a witness, get their information. Either ask them for a business card or put it into your phone or get their email, because a lot of times we're trying to track down witnesses later and it's almost impossible if we don't have the contact information.
Okay, I want to go back to, in case you are injured, it's really important that you see a doctor.
It is. I mean, you know, a lot of people in Iowa want to tough it out because that's who we are. And so if you wait to go to the doctor for, you know, a week or 10 days after the accident, you know, the insurance adjuster is going to give your lawyer and you a hard time about that. So don't be a martyr. Now's the time to complain. So, yes.
That is the key, isn't it?
That is the key. That is the key. You know, the other thing, too, that's important to know, Lou, is I see a lot of cases where someone goes to the doctor and they've hurt their shoulder and they've hurt their knee, but their knee's really bothering them. So that's what they complain about to the doctor. And they don't mention their shoulder, and so that causes problems down the road when we're trying to settle the case, because the insurance adjuster says, well, she didn't even complain about her shoulder when she went to the doctor.
Right.
So make a list so that you don't forget, and so when you go in to talk to your doctor, make a list of everything that hurts.
That's another good point. That's
Yes.
a very good point.
Yes.
Now, speaking of insurance, how important is it to run this through insurance?
Yeah, and that's a misconception. A lot of people say, well, I didn't cause the accident, so the other person's insurance should pay my medical bills. And that will take forever, and in the meantime, your medical bills are probably going to be sent to collection. So you always want to make sure that your health insurance is used for your physical therapy, for your doctor, for the emergency room, because also you'll get that deduction or discount that your health insurance gets for the records.
Okay,
I
and
mean, for the medical care.
Speaking of the records, you want to make sure you keep good records of everything that's going on.
Yes, we ask people to use a calendar, or you can use your iPhone, but ideally a calendar, so that we don't have to worry about losing the phone. But document the things that you couldn't go to. Document your pain level, because again, as Iowans, if it's 3 months past the car accident and we're feeling better, we always say, oh, that wasn't that bad. You know, I'm okay. And then I'm trying to, prod people into, well, do you remember? You know, could you go to the graduation and sit in the bleachers? You know,
Right.
so that type of thing.
All right, so it really is important to document everything that's going on if you're in a vehicle accident. So many different things that we're trying to keep in mind here in case case someone is in a vehicle accident. Obviously, do the things that we mentioned here right off the bat. But if they want to talk to you about this, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Sure, we're happy to talk to you. There's no charge for that. Just give us a call. You can either give us a call at 515-INJURED or 515-279-2000.
All right, Kim, great advice as always. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back. This is Iowa Live.